Welcome to Nightingale. We'll help you to navigate your STEM career. Brought to you by KCL Women in STEM.
Welcome to Nightingale. I'm Anel, and I'm a third-year Master's Finance Management student, and I'm also president of Women in STEM Society here at King's College London. And today I'm joined by Karina, who is a second-year computer science with management and year in industry student. She's also a head of technology at King's Banking and Finance Society, and she did a spring week at Morgan Stanley, which then she converted into a placement program. Okay. Hi, Karina. Thank you so much for joining us today. So the first question would be, I guess, how are you in general? How are you doing? How is the life? In which part of the world are you at the moment?
Hey, Anel. Well, currently I'm in London. It's a lockdown here, so I'm studying from my accommodation. Pretty fun experience. It's snowing outside, so it's an amazing scenery there. And I kind of enjoy it, to be honest. I'm so used to it. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good as well. I'm actually very surprised that it's snowing today. It hasn't been snowing for a couple of years, I guess, here as a proper snow. Yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah, studying from home is not what you actually expect from your final year, but I guess we're all in this together. So the first question would be, what made you choose your degree?
Well, I was always passionate about maths at my high school, and I guess my craziest obsession times was when I was waking up at 5 a.m. just to solve some math problems. And it made me realize that in my life, I want to do something related to numbers or logic. And my options were to pursue a degree either in pure maths or in computer science. And then at some point, I discovered a book named Singularity is Near, written by Raymond Kurzweil. He is a director of engineering at Google, and he made some interesting predictions for future. So one of the predictions was like, by 2030, nanobots will be able to merge our minds with cloud, and it will potentially expand our capacity to store information. These nanobots can also cure illnesses from the inside of our bodies, and it can potentially lead to the extension of life. So I was like, wow, that's so interesting, and I want to be a part of this development. I want to contribute to this technological development. Mm-hmm. And that's why I chose computer science.
That's really fascinating. What age were you when you have discovered this book? And was there like a particular person who has introduced you to that book, or you just discovered that you by yourself?
I guess I was around 17 at that moment, and I discovered this book just by watching some YouTube videos and I guess by reading some art. I don't really remember how exactly I discovered this one, but I remember that it had a huge impact on how I feel about future.
So you also mentioned that you were doing a computer science with management and you're in industry. Can you tell us more about the management part?
Yes, sure. So I chose computer science with management just because I don't want to do coding 24/7 in my whole life. I want to also know how to manage people, how to deliver interesting presentations, how to be a leader that people can get inspiration from, and a leader that can inspire people to become better versions of themselves. And I guess that now with my computer science with management, I can balance my coding life and my normal talking life pretty well.
I think that's a very good combination of skills, like being technical at the same time, developing good communication skills with people. I think that's a very good choice. Can you tell us more about your volunteering experience that you have mentioned you're doing during free time? What is that you're doing in particular? Like, how do you find time for this as well, especially during COVID now?
Well, currently I am helping to distribute food for people in need. It's a charity organization where we bring food, hot food, and clothes to people. We normally have around 200 plus people coming to our charity and food distribution every week. And I really enjoy it because that's a place where I can talk to people, and I really like talking to new people. I'm the one who is always engaging with those who come, because normally people don't talk to them when they're on the streets and they feel lonely, they don't feel like humans. And when I talk to them, I don't see that they are homeless. I see that they are human beings as well, and they have their own experience. Some of them, they lost their job in March, just when COVID started, and they just ended up on the streets. And I guess it can happen to everyone, you never know. And having the attitude that you are so much above these people is not right, I believe, because we are all the same. We are all human beings. We all breathe. We all eat. It's just, for now, they are in the bad position in life. They just have this experience now, but they're really interesting. And when I go to this charity, I go there every week, and it gives me a boost of positive energy, I guess. So I am charged for the next week to achieve everything I want to.
I see your point, and I completely agree with you. I think it's wonderful what you're doing for these people, and we should all take more time out of our schedule to help the people in need.
So another question would be, have you ever experienced discrimination or prejudice while studying your degree, and how have you dealt with it if you ever experienced that?
No, not really, to be honest. I think that at my degree, the majority of people are guys, maybe 70 or 80%, and everyone I talk to is really friendly. They're really nice. They help me if I need help. They listen to me when I have something to share. They support me whenever I need it. So I want to believe that they don't have any prejudice about me. And honestly, I like talking to people. I like learning from them and sharing my own experiences, no matter what their gender or nationality is. So I guess if you are open-minded towards people, that's what you will get back, because you attract what you are.
That's very good. That's very positive mindset as well, because a lot of people, especially girls in computer science, are usually feeling discriminated, and we have a couple of members who have personal experience with that, and they can share different stories. So that's very good to hear that you are doing great. And what would you recommend other women who are interested in studying computer science, so those who are currently doing A-levels or even GCSEs, or probably studying somewhere else overseas and wants to come here?
Well, I guess first advice would be, don't afraid to talk to guys and to share your ideas with them, because they are friendly, they are open-minded, and they are same human beings as you are, and they will support you. And just in case, don't worry that you'll be surrounded by only guys, because there are some also nice and clever girls at computer science course too. So you will have some different people there. And another advice would be proactive, go beyond your program, talk to professors if you find your subject interesting, or if you find some other subjects interesting, even if it's not a subject that is from your program, maybe it's subject from some other courses, but you would like to, and if you would like to know something more about it, you can always reach out to professor, and I guess he will be more than happy to help you, no matter what your gender is. And I guess the last point will be, don't compare yourself to others, because at computer science degree, there are many guys who had a lot of prior experience in programming and in just computer science in general, which may not be the case for you, and which wasn't the case for me. So like when I came to study computer science, I had zero experience at coding, like absolutely zero. And because I was passionate about it, in 1 year, even less, like by February, I was able to pass my Morgan Stanley coding assessment successfully with no experience beforehand. So I would say never compare yourself to other guys who may have tons of experience, because some of them, they will be working full time. Some of them will be saying that computer science degree is a joke for them because it's like very easy, and it will not be the case for you. Probably it may not be the case for you. And if you are passionate, if you're willing to work a lot, but not a lot, like work hard, but work clever, you have to balance your life as well. You eventually may become even better than those with prior experience.
That's a really good advice. And especially for those who are coming as a first years, it is totally fine to have no prior experience at all. And sort of moving on from that, what opportunities has King's presented you with in terms of job searching or other sort of opportunities outside of your department, probably?
Well, I guess firstly, once during my first year, I went to networking night when it was all in person. So it was a night, yeah, when we had a lot of various firms which came to King's, and they just presented what they are, what their goals are, and that they are looking for interns. That's how I got to know about Morgan Stanley, actually. And I became curious. I applied after that networking night to Morgan Stanley. And then I started to pass all the interviews, and I guess that's a completely different story about my Morgan Stanley assessment center. So yeah, that was the first thing that King's presented me with. And the second one was that at King's there are many societies, many different societies who are interested in various topics. And at one of the events of these societies, I went to robotics in medicine event, I guess, and I was so curious about this event. And after that, I decided to email the professor to just discuss some of the topics that he mentioned in greater detail. And he was super friendly. He decided to arrange a call with me, and I was happy about that. We had a call for maybe an hour, if not more, and we just discussed what he is doing, because he is a professor of biotechnology, and that's another topic I'm interested in, except of investment banking. So he told me what books to read so I can expand my knowledge in biotechnology. He gave me some advice how I can pursue this career with my computer science degree in future. And it was just a lovely call, and I was happy that professors at King's are super friendly. And even if it's not my professor, even if it's a person who I don't know personally, who is not my teacher, he was also willing to help me. So that's another opportunity King's presented me with.
That's a really amazing story. You're definitely using all the opportunities that are available out there for students on King's. So in terms of your particular degree, how has your computer science degree opened doors for your chosen industry and just into the topic that you're interested in general, apart from what you have already mentioned?
Before starting my course, as I mentioned before, I had zero experience with programming and coding. King's opened this world for me, the world of coding, and it was really interesting and engaging to learn it, because at first I was a bit confused how to start. Yeah, during my first year, I learned how to code from scratch, and then I was able to pass successfully my coding interviews at Morgan Stanley, and this is the career path that I'm quite interested now. Yeah, I guess that's how it helped me to become more involved with the industry I want to work with.
Wow, that's very fascinating. What are you looking to do like in your career, and what are you looking like to pursue in the future, considering you had a slightly different experience at investment banks?
Well, there are two of my main interests that I have for now. First one is investment banking, and second one is these biotechnologies. And in terms of investment banking, I'm going to do my placement at Morgan Stanley next year, and I did Spring Week with them this year as well. And in terms of biotechnologies, I'm still looking for ways how I can improve myself and how I can expand my knowledge. I'm attending various events that King's provide us with, various society meetings that King's also has.
So, Karina, can you give us your top tips for listeners on how to get internships or spring weeks and how to get into the industry in general?
Yes, sure. So my first tip would be that during your interviews, be confident in yourself, but don't pretend that you know everything. Because it's okay to say that you don't know something. In fact, it's better if you say it than if you pretend that you know something, because interviewers will definitely start to ask you more in-depth questions about this topic, and they will probably realize that you're a bit exaggerated about your abilities. So second one would be dress appropriately, because it will make nice first impression, and it will also boost your confidence levels while you are doing the interviews. Another tip would be don't get confused by interviewers' faces, because when I had my Morgan Stanley interview, I had two interviewers, the guy and the girl, and when I was answering some of my questions, the girl was making a face like I'm talking about complete nonsense, while the guy was always smiling to me, and I felt that I'm doing the right job. And before that, my friend who has a lot of experience in passing such interviews told me that sometimes they do stress tests, and you just shouldn't be confused about what their faces tell you. You just need to be confident in your answers and continue as you started. And my last tip would be leave everything on the table. So if you want to say something, say it. Don't be afraid to get judged by other people. Don't be afraid that what you say is wrong or that it's complete nonsense. Because if you don't say it and the first second that you leave the room, you will regret that you didn't say it. So try to say everything that you think about. And I'm pretty sure that everything you think about is a really nice thought.
That's a really good tips. But what would you say would be the a good starting point for those who are just figuring out how to get into the industry? Perhaps you can mention some of the resources that you found particularly useful, considering you had a limited coding experience at a time when you were applying for a job.
Well, in terms of coding experience, my tip would be listen to lectures properly, and I was also reading the book that lecturer recommended me, so I guess that's how I got to learn how to code a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of room for improvement still, but it just helped me to get started with it. So I would suggest you to be productive and proactive and do everything that lecturers tell you to do. If you have more time, you can do some hacker ranks, or you can go and participate in hackathons. But in terms of interviews itself, you should probably talk to other people who already had this experience, because they are the best people who can give you advice on how to act there and what to say and what to not say. And yeah, just apply everywhere you think you can, and don't get sad when you don't get an offer, because you can get hundreds of rejections and one successful one, and it will be really nice.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, I would say, from my own experience as well. Just keep applying, and it's fine that if you're rejected somewhere, it's all right. You'll get there. It's not as something wrong with you. It's just there are limited positions out there, and
Exactly.
your dream job is waiting for you somewhere down the line. Yeah, thank you so much, Karina, for joining us today. We wish you the best of luck with your degree, especially now with everything moving online. Hopefully, you'll get back to campus very soon.
Thank you, Anel, for inviting me. It was a real honor for me to be here today, and I wish a lot of luck for those who are interested in studying computer science.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Nightingale. Tune in next time for more insights and how to navigate your STEM career.